It's Rob Bauer with Sharp College Football, and we made it. Well, sort of. I mean, it's not over yet, but we're at week 13. Week 12? Week 13? Week 13 for Sharp College Football. I'm excited. This is going to be a fun one. We have some really great games. Of course, it's rivalry week for a lot of teams out there. So we've got some games have a little hate to them, some bragging rights year round that go to the winners, and some suffering, of course, that goes to the losers. But not only that, but some of these games are going to be critical in determining who is actually in the picture going forward for the playoff. That all-consuming, really absurd conversation that we have. Yeah. I say that because, man, we spent so much stupid time talking about where Michigan State was ranked. Michigan State sucked. I mean, they're okay. They're like a middle of the road Power 5. I mean, after the butt kicking they took in the horseshoe, I'm not sure they're even a sort of middle of the road Power 5 team, but they're not a great team. They had no business being ranked in the top 10 of anything. And it's only a reflection of the way college football scheduling works and luck works, that they ended up where they were. But we spent so much time arguing about where the Spartans were ranked. It was just, man, I'm fine. I think the playoff is generally a good idea. I don't want to listen to people get angry about the rankings anymore. I don't care. Just stop the shows. I mean, I do a stupid midweek college football show. Just stop the Tuesday night ranking show. It's awful. And it's not that the show, I mean, the show itself is not entertaining, and you shouldn't watch it, and you should watch MAC football instead if you're a decent college football fan. But the endless Twitter reaction, conversation, articles, editorializing afterwards, it's the worst. It's genuinely the worst part of the sport right now. And I wish that part would just go away. Right. So here we are. And I mean, for the most part, these things will take care of themselves, right? Like Michigan State probably needed Ohio State to turn the ball over 5 or 6 times to really be in that game in Columbus. So barring, sort of a lightning strike type event, Michigan State's, going to get eliminated, most years, but you are going to have years where, of course, your juggernauts in that conference might be down. And a team like Michigan State could potentially sneak into the playoff and then just you'd have something in the playoff like we had in Columbus, because Ohio State very much is a likely playoff team. All right, so we have 6 games. This is your first time tuning in. I just started rambling off. It's a little stream of consciousness. I'm Rob Bauer, and I'm the econometrician behind Beta Rank. You can find all the stats you're going to see here tonight at sharpcollegefootball.com. And we're going to run through 6 games. I try to keep it to 5 minutes a game. We're going to run through it from an advanced stats perspective, talking about what matchups are really going to matter. Less so from the, this cornerback needs to cover this receiver, but this offense does this really well. This defense does not do this very well, that kind of thing. So I do try to keep it. I have a timer on the screen. I do try to keep it to 5 minutes. So we're about a little short of 5 minutes on the intro. We're not doing too bad, even with the editorializing about the editorializing. It's very meta as we wind the season down. I will continue these. I will do the conference championship games, and then I will do the playoff as we approach the playoff. I might try to put the playoff preview video out a little early, sort of after they announce the matchups, to get it out there. Anyway, hit me up if you have any questions. Probably not when I'm doing the yakety-yak on here. I don't think I can multitask like that and actually form complete sentences, but afterwards, of course. So let's get to the games. The first one, of course, is Ohio State versus Michigan. This is a really good game. I'm excited for this. It's number 2 Ohio State at number 6 Michigan. Ryan Day's your head coach for the Buckeyes. Jim Harbaugh's, of course, your head coach for the Wolverines. And, as we look at this matchup here, on this side of the ball, you got Ryan Day as your play caller. You get Mike McDonald. He's the Michigan DC that they brought in. He's done a really good job, I think, putting this defense. I mean, Don Brown, for the most part, had really good defenses at Michigan. The last year, of course, they just really fell off a cliff in the COVID season. But they've had a nice bounce back this season. They're up to number 13 in beta rank. But this Buckeye offense is fantastic. They're number 1 overall in beta rank. They're number 2 in drive efficiency. They're absolutely able to put together drives to put up points. All the metrics you see here are controlling for opponent and field position. But the drive efficiency metric is designed to capture outside of explosive plays, not relying on big plays. What points do you put up? Are you able to put together, string together plays to put together long drives to put up points? Ohio State's excellent at that. They're number 1 in the country in explosive drives. Just a terrific explosive. I mean, you guys got to see it a little bit last week. Michigan State's pass defense is no great shakes, but you definitely got to see the Buckeyes light them up. Play efficiency, which is controlling for their yards per play outside of explosives, number 1 there as well. So they're not just relying on explosive plays. This is a dynamic offense really across the board. Number 1 in negative drives, not a lot of 3 and outs, not a lot of turnovers. Yeah, this is a good. I mean, they're not like a 2019 LSU levels, of course, but like this is a really good offense. They may not even be at 2019 Ohio State levels, but this is a different offense than what we've seen for the Buckeyes in the past with Day, which is more of a run-first offense. I think Ryan Day has a really sophisticated run scheme, and he generally has had really good offensive line coaching. They don't rely on the run as much for this year around. Stroud's done a phenomenal job. They have such a great set of wide receivers. Number 1 in effective pass. They're looking to throw the ball around. Now, Michigan at number 13 overall. This is a pretty good defense. Not a great defense, a pretty good defense. Number 20 in drive efficiency. This is a little, I mean, this is where they struggle. Like if you're looking at where they struggle a little bit, it's here at drive efficiency and explosive drives. You can put together some drives against them. They've definitely given up some big plays. Where they're pretty good, I mean, is negative drives. Number 15 overall. They are able to force 3 and outs, force some turnovers. No big run pass split for them. Number 13 in effective rush, number 13 in effective pass. That's a decent pass number to be going up against Ohio State with. You are, of course, I mean, Michigan, as we flip over to the other side, you will likely be, chasing points and hoping for turnovers still, even though this is, a fairly close game overall, I think, in the projections. Here on the other side of the football, Josh Gaddis is your play caller for the Wolverines. Matt Barnes is now your play caller for the Buckeyes. This Michigan offense is pretty good. Where they excel, I mean, this is in no way an explosive offense as you're coming through here, is it drive efficiency. Number 4 at drive efficiency overall. They put together drives to put up points. They don't put up nearly as many big plays. I mean, number 73 overall on explosive drives. That's not really their forte. They don't have an explosive passing attack, and their play efficiency number's good. Number 19 in negative drives, not a lot of 3 and outs, not a lot of turnovers. They really do run the football well. Number 13 in effective rush. They're going to have to find something in the passing game, though, to be able to hang with the Buckeyes. The Buckeyes defense has really taken some steps forward since they switched up the play caller. Stopped playing single high safety and man coverage all the time. And they've also brought in and let some of the young guys loose, particularly on the defensive line, opened up more competition. But where they have struggled a little bit, even as they've been putting it together, is in drive efficiency. Number 29 overall there. You can drive on the Buckeyes still. Number 18 in explosive drives. They don't force enough 3 and outs and turnovers, really. Number 33 overall in negative drives. They are better against the run than they are against the pass, and that's really something to keep an eye on here too. I mean, a lot of times with the Buckeyes, teams are chasing points. They're behind. They are trying to move the ball, and you can. I mean, you absolutely can. You don't have the defensive effective rush and effective pass are calculated at the margin. Ohio State is far better than against the run. That's going to be the really interesting matchup that's going to tell whether this game really stays close. We've got this game projected with an Ohio State of 77% win probability and 7.66 points on the road. Should be a fun one. It's going to be on, it's got a great time slot. You'll know when it is. This one's interesting. I'm excited for this one. So we've got number 4, Oklahoma State against number 22, Oklahoma. Now you may be saying Oklahoma's a lot higher than 22. And that's not an advanced stat. So this Oklahoma team's really been scuffling along. Some of it, as we're going to see right here, is injuries that they had. The secondary is a lot better with some players that have been back, but I haven't seen enough of it yet to really buy in that this defense is in any way, well, not terrible. And that's tough. So you've got Mike Gundy as the head coach of the Cowboys. You've got Lincoln Riley as the head coach of the Sooners. Your offensive coordinator for the Cowboys here is Casey Dunn. And I think he's done a pretty good job. I think Spencer Sanders is still pretty limited as a quarterback with what they may want to be able to run. Alex Grinch is your GC for Oklahoma. I've been shocked at how much of a step back this defense has really taken from maybe where they were last year. Some of that's injuries, but not all of it could be injuries. I mean, they've been really bad defensively. Anyway, this Oklahoma State offense at number 38 overall, not a great Power 5 offense. Where they are good is at drive efficiency. They can put together drives to put up points, but they're not a terribly explosive offense at number 60 overall. Their play efficiency number is not great. I mean, outside of explosives, they're not really getting a great yards per play, controlling for opponent and field position. They do avoid 3 and outs and turnovers, though. Not their negative drives number compared to some of their other ones is pretty good. They're a lot better running the ball than they are throwing the ball. That's really, I think, a reflection too of what they have in Sanders. He's not a terribly accurate QB downfield. Doesn't make great decisions all the time. Needs to make up for it with his legs. If they get an Oklahoma defense at 58 overall, you can absolutely put together drives against this defense. And this is true. I think. I think this is going to be true in this game too. I mean, like Oklahoma State, when they do score, it's likely not going to be on big plays. They're going to put together drives against the Sooners. Their explosive drives number is not great, though, number 56. They're a little better at play efficiency, a little better at negative drives, forcing 3 and outs and turnovers. Their effective rush number is not great either. I mean, number 46 overall in effective rush, 72 in effective pass. With some of the guys coming back off of injury, the secondary is better, but by how much? I mean, really, though, to stop Oklahoma State, the question is going to be this rush number, this effective rush number. How well are they going to be able to contain the Cowboys there? That's an interesting matchup on this side of the ball, and it will be telling. I mean, you should expect the Cowboys to have decent field position a lot here, because as we flip it over, buddy, when would you have ever thought this? This Oklahoma State defense is so freaking good under Jim Knowles. Lincoln Riley's your play caller for Oklahoma, of course. Oklahoma's offense is decent, number 11 overall. This is, by the standards of Lincoln Riley offenses, this is actually a pretty bad offense. I mean, most teams would kill, to be up at this level, and be this efficient, but they struggle a little bit at drive efficiency comparatively. Like they rely more on big plays. Number 9 in explosive drives, number 13 in play efficiency. Number 22 in negative drives. I mean, there are too many 3 and outs, too many turnovers. Not a great rushing attack. Number 27 overall in effective rush. They do want to beat you more with the pass. Really interested to see this here, though, of course, because like Caleb Williams, you can confuse him. I mean, he had a really bad day against a Baylor pass defense that frankly isn't very good. But run some interesting stuff, and Dave Aranda and Ron Roberts come up with interesting stuff. This Oklahoma State defense is a lot better. He's going to have to be on it in this game. We could see Spencer Rattler again. This Oklahoma State defense is number 2 overall, right behind Wisconsin, who's just having a phenomenal year defensively. Number 10 in drive efficiency. It's tough to put together long drives to put up points against them. They do an exceptional job of controlling explosive drives at number 2 there. You see these numbers on the left here, these defensive ones. I scale them to the offensive numbers to try to give you an idea. So that's against the top that would be what it would be against the Buckeyes explosive offense. And Oklahoma State's not really there. They're also scaled to, or Oklahoma's not really there. They're also scaled to that Buckeyes number. So do keep an eye on how well they are able to limit explosive plays in this game, because Oklahoma might have a little bit of an advantage there, even though Oklahoma State's really good at that. Number 3 in play efficiency. But where they are just tops is negative drives. They force 3 and outs and turnovers like nobody's business. excellent against the run, very good against the pass. I'm excited to see the matchup on this side of the ball, in particular, this Oklahoma State defense against this Oklahoma offense, which has been, Riley's been among the best in the country for a couple of years now. This offense just isn't it comparatively. So I'm interested to see if that holds up. Oklahoma State's a much bigger favorite in beta rank than they are in Vegas. They're a 13-point favorite in beta rank, 84% win probability at home. I do like their chances. We have a lot of data on both of these teams having played very, at this point, very similar schedules. Oklahoma State, if they don't turn the ball over 2 times, they should win this game. The Egg Bowl. All right. And hijinks ensued, right? Like, isn't that the usual? So this one's on Thursday. This is going to be this will also, I keep feeling like this is going to be a really fun game. I'm covering them because they're going to be really fun games. But this is going to be, this should be a real fun one. We've got Lane Kiffin, the coach at Ole Miss, Mike Leach, the coach at Mississippi State. This offense, directed by Kiffin and Jeff Lebby, they're number 12 overall. They're super explosive. I mean, this is a home run, and that's it, offense. And so this isn't a terribly efficient offense. They're not great at putting the other drives to put up points. They're number 7 in explosive drives. They're just looking to get big plays and go score. So this is like in baseball, you might call this like a 3 true outcomes, right? Like they hit home runs, they strike out, or they get walked. That's about it. This isn't like a singles and doubles. So number 7 in explosive drives. They're excellent too at play efficiency. Their yards per play outside of explosives is really good as well. Number 6 in negative drives. They don't take a lot of 3-and-outs, not a lot of turnovers. They're definitely, what's interesting, I think, because you have Matt Corral and he's definitely put up some big numbers, but they are actually a little bit more reliant on the run. That's Jeff Lebby's influence. He came out of that Baylor, spread him out to run attack. Having him there has definitely changed up Kiffin's offense. But number 26 in effective pass, the headlines go to Matt Corral still, of course. They stubbed their toe a little bit last week against Vanderbilt. I'm interested to see them again this week. They get a defense coached by Zach Arnett at Mississippi State. He comes out of the Rocky Long coaching tree of that 3-3-5. This defense is 36 overall in beta rank, kind of a middle of the road Power 5 defense. Decent at play efficiency, decent at explosive drives, less good at their play efficiency number here, right at 48 overall. Controlling for outside of explosives, their yards per play is not great. Like that'll be something to watch here as they take on this Ole Miss offense. And 57 in negative drives, not forcing enough 3-and-outs or turnovers, right? Like, so they're definitely more designed to be able, this defense, where they're good is they're going to be able to use the field to find a way to get off of it. They're not, they're not causing chaos and finding ways to get off the field in the first set of downs. Better against the run than they are against the pass. That's going to be interesting to watch here too, of course, because this Ole Miss attacks, sort of sneakily relies more on the run game. Other side of the football, man, the reports of Mike Leach's death as a play caller were exaggerated last year. Remember all that of like Mike Leach would never ever figure it out again, and lo and behold, he's got a top 10 offense. Number 7 overall in beta rank, number 5 in drive efficiency. And I one of the things that I find so if you're a Pac-12 fan like I am, and you followed some of those Washington State offenses that he had with the Cougs, he also had some really bad offenses, but his last 2 seasons there, he had 2 really good offenses back to back. One of which was the Gardner Minshew version, another of which was the Anthony Gordon version. This is a lot more like the Minshew version, where they're a much more efficient passing attack. Their drive efficiency is terrific, not as explosive. Number 35 overall. That Gordon offense at Washington State was like all bombs. Like it was one of the most explosive offenses in the country. Gordon had a great deep ball and loved throwing deep. This is the number 65 in play efficiency, 14 in negative drives, not a lot of 3-and-outs, not a lot of turnovers. They're going to drive the length of the field, on you, taking what's available. As you'd expect with Mike Leach, 125 in effective rush, number 2 in effective pass. This is, they're going to line up and throw on you. duh. But don't expect to go into this with like, some of the silly answers that we had last year of like, all you have to do against Mike Leach is run zone and it's over, right? Like, clearly that is not the case. Anywho, you get an Ole Miss defense at number 43 overall, coached by DJ Durkin. This is on the wrong side of middle of the road Power 5 defense. They're decent at play or drive efficiency there. I mean, not giving up long drives to put up points, but not great against explosive drives here. Number 50 or 58 overall. 24 in play efficiency, 90 in negative drives, not hardly forcing any 3-and-outs or turnovers. Not a big run pass split. That pass number though overall is not great. It's going to be interesting to see, they do often find ways to get off the field, you might argue, but their explosive drives number is bad enough that you might actually see the Mississippi State team be able to get some bigger chunk plays against them. We've got this as a real toss-up. Mississippi State at just a 52% win probability at home and a third of a point favorite in beta rank. I'm really excited for this one. Mark Stoops and his Kentucky Wildcats go to get Scott Satterfield in Louisville. This is going to be a fun one. This Louisville team's been sneaky good all year. Like, Satterfield's really putting it together. In particular, like where the defense has come, which we'll get to in a second. Under Brian Brown he's just done a phenomenal job. And it's tough because like Jim Knowles probably should win. Or you could argue Warren Ruggiero at Wake should win the Broyles Award. But if not, like Brian Brown should absolutely be in the discussion. Anyway, offensively, called by Satterfield. He's your play caller. Louisville, number 19 in drive efficiency. This is a top 10 offense. They're pretty good at putting together drives to put up points, but they are very explosive. Number 11 overall. Their play efficiency is pretty good as well. Negative drives. I mean, they don't have any bad numbers. Like, this is just a solid offense across the board. Number 12 in effective rushes you'd expect from somebody that came over from App State. A little bit of a run pass split here. They definitely are more effective running the ball than they are throwing the ball. But it's not like they can't throw the football. If you watch them just light it up offensively against Duke, of course, like Kentucky's going to be a little more of a test than that. But this defense really isn't great. Brad White's your play caller here for this defense. I'm surprised that Mark Stoops and Brad White haven't been able to sort of fix what's going on with the defense here. They're at number 8 in drive efficiency. That's a really good one there for them. But man, they give up big plays. Number 62 overall in explosive drives, 65 in play efficiency. They're at 88 in negative drives. I mean, they absolutely don't force nearly enough 3-and-outs and turnovers. This defense really relies on having enough field to get off of it, and eventually find a way off. They're not great. Their yards, yards per play type metrics are really bad. So keep an eye out for Louisville being able to put up big plays in this game. Not a really big run pass, but they're a little bit better against the run than they are against the pass. But again, what might define this is how well they're able to manage the big plays that the Cardinals are looking to be able to put up. Flip it around on the other side of the ball. This Kentucky offense is actually pretty good. And Stoops did a really good job going out and getting a new offensive coordinator, totally changing up the type of, the offense that he was running. Although they still are a run-heavy offense. They went and got Liam Cohen from the Rams. And then, as I talked about, Brian Brown's your defensive coordinator for Louisville. Number 14 overall in drive efficiency, pretty good at being able to put up long drives and put up points. 19 in explosive drives. Where they struggle a little bit, 52 here in negative drives, too many 3-and-outs, too many turnovers. That's certainly something to watch out for. They are at number 20 overall in effective rush. 42 in effective pass. This is still a run first offense. We'll see if Cohen sticks around or if Stoops sticks around if he's interviewing for that LSU or Florida jobs. But if they stick around, if they're able to recruit in and develop more quarterback friendly offensive system. This Louisville defense, they're a middle of the road Power 5 defense, but from where they were a couple years ago, this is like a miracle. 22 overall in drive efficiency. So they do find ways to get off the field, and their offense helps them out by usually giving them some decent field position, but they do give up big plays, 49 in explosive drives. They're at 29 overall in play efficiency. So their yards per play outside of explosive isn't great, kind of middle of the road. And not enough 3-and-outs, not enough turnovers here. So when you look at this too, I mean, they're 36 in effective rush, 42 in effective pass, no big split. Both of these offenses really, and the defenses are not great at it. They don't they should be able to get yards and get going. So like field position might end up being critical in this game. Who can actually, and really too, when you look at both defenses' weaknesses against big plays, man, like this could be a shootout. There could be a lot of points. I mean, I say that, and of course there won't be, but this could really turn into a shootout, with a lot, with the teams trading big plays, because the defenses really struggle with that. The drive efficiency numbers, for both defenses are a little bit better. So the teams might, I would say in both cases, probably rely on big plays more than they are relying on being able to drive the length of the field. But it should be an interesting and exciting game to watch. It's got a good time slot at that 7:30. I would definitely and it's on ESPN too. So it's not like you have to have every network under the sun to catch it. I might have this on a second screen if I were you around that 7:30 time frame. Oh, and we've got at Louisville 65% and a 4.84 win spread favored. Anyway, Oregon State, the game that shall not be named. So we've got, this is an interesting one. Oregon is of course at number 26 overall, coming off just getting spanked in Salt Lake City, and Oregon State coming off a fairly impressive win that they put together against the Sun Devils. But this Oregon, and it's coached by Mario Cristobal, of course, for the Ducks, Jonathan Smith, for the Beavers. This Oregon offense at number 14 overall is decent. They've definitely put it together a bit more as the year has gone on. They struggled, of course, last week in Salt Lake City. But they struggle on drive efficiency. Like just being able to put together long drives to put up points is it's not their forte. They're a much more explosive offense. And some of it, of course, is Brown. He doesn't have the completion percentage you really need out of a modern quarterback. 21 in play efficiency overall. Their yards per play outside of explosives is still pretty good. 23 on negative drives. Not a lot of 3-and-outs. Not a lot of turnovers. Huge run pass split here. I mean, this is a much more effective rushing attack than they are throwing the football. They get a Beavs defense that's improving a little bit. Trent Bray is your play caller, of course, after Tim Tibesar was let go. This team struggled with drive efficiency. So this is kind of, I mean, this isn't a great defense. Oregon should be able to move the ball and put up points. But what is interesting here is they're better at containing explosive drives than they are at drive efficiency by a good margin. And their negative drives numbers, well, it's not great. I mean, they're decent at their containing the play efficiency overall. They don't force enough 3-and-outs or turnovers. I mean, compared to their drive efficiency numbers, of course, like those are okay. They are a little bit better against the run than they are against the pass. And I mean, if you were going to have a lean coming into this game where you were better at one than the other, that's the way you would certainly pick it. But it is going to be interesting here because Oregon, if they can, will rely on the run game. Oregon State's going to have to figure out ways to be able to contain the run game without giving up really big explosive passes. That's where Brown is really able to hurt you, is if he can hit some big ones over the top after you've come in to try to contain Oregon's run game. That's where Oregon State could really find themselves in some trouble. So are they able to, because Oregon still does have some dynamic playmakers on the outside, are they able to really contain Oregon's rushing attack? I doubt. I mean, Oregon's going to be able to put up some points in this game. Flip it around, though, and the Beavs should be able to put up some points in this game. Brian Lindgren is your play caller here for the Beavs. 15 overall in beta rank. They're excellent at drive efficiency. This is the opposite of the Oregon offense, right? Like this team will drive the length of the field on you to put up points. But if they have drive stall, they really struggle because they don't put up enough big plays to make up for it. Number 63 overall in explosive drives. Outside of explosives, their yards per play is pretty good. Number 36 overall in beta rank. Not a lot of 3-and-outs, not a lot of turnovers. And they're an excellent rushing attack. Number 7 overall in effective rush. Number 63 in effective pass. Chance Nolan's not a great passer. I mean, you could absolutely say the same thing about Brown. And the key for them is really, is he able to, put it together enough to be able to put up some points here? What Oregon does really well on this defense, which is not a great defense. Tim DeRuyter's your defensive coordinator here. What they do well is they contain explosive plays. They're outside of their explosive, their yards per play is pretty good. They tackle well. They're pretty good at negative drives, number 21 overall there. The problem with this Oregon defense is you can drive on them, and everyone's put together drives on them. Arizona, UCLA, other teams, Stanford. And then you get into like the fact that Utah definitely put together some big plays against this team as well. But this is not a great Oregon defense. I do expect the Beavs to be able to, with the play calling and execution, to be able to put together some drives to put up points. This should be a close and interesting game. And this is in Eugene. Not a big run pass split for the Ducks. They're a little better against the run than they are against the pass. This matchup could very well depend on Oregon's ability. Oregon could lock this game up early if they are able to contain the Beavers' run game and keep them if they can put them in a position where they're behind schedule often enough, then the Beavs are going to be in trouble here, because you absolutely can't rely on Chance Nolan's arm. But the flip is totally true. As we found out last week, you can't rely on Anthony Brown either. So I expect Oregon, if they turn the ball over once or twice, they're definitely going to be in trouble. They've only got a 65% win probability in this game, 4.84 at home. This is also going to be a fun one on Friday. So Boise State comes in, a much more highly ranked team than San Diego State, though as you get outside of the top of beta rank, the space between this team starts to shrink a little bit. So it's not, this isn't like, I think Georgia would be favored by 7 over Ohio State, who's number 2. Boise State on the road is only favored by a little under 7 in beta rank. Against number 71, a gap of 40 instead of just 1. So Boise State comes in. Andy Avalos is your head coach, number 31 overall. Brady Hoke's your head coach for San Diego State, number 71. This offense is okay. Tim Plow's your offensive coordinator here. It's a decent offense. They're a really explosive offense, though. They struggle with putting together long drives to put up points. They do really look to hit big plays against you, though, and they're number 59 overall in explosive drives, sitting at number 70 in play efficiency there. Outside of explosive, their yards per play is not great, but not a lot of turnovers, not a lot of 3-and-outs. They have a huge run pass split here. They definitely look to throw the football around. 24 in effective pass versus 82 in effective rush. You really do have to be able to, slow down the passing game here to contain the Broncos. The San Diego State defense is really interesting. They're at 23 overall in beta rank. They're at 47 in drive efficiency overall, so you can put together long drives to put up points against them, and they have given up some big plays, number 37 overall here. Where they're really good, it's the least important of the core 4 beta rank metrics, play efficiency, but they're pretty good here outside of explosives containing the yards per play. But they're really good, number 13 overall, forcing 3-and-outs, forcing turnovers. This defense causes chaos. They show up on the, when they come off the bench with a plan, trying to force you to get to take a 3-and-out and get the ball back into their offense, hopefully with some decent field position because they've got the fantastic punter, right? They're 25 in effective rush, 36 in effective pass. That's certainly something to keep an eye on here because Boise can sling it around. Are they going to be able to get pressure on the Boise quarterback to be able to potentially put them in a little bit of trouble here? That's a work email. Flip it around though. Ooh, buddy, like Jeff Hecklinski is your offensive coordinator here for the San Diego State offense. That's not, I mean, I think even by group of 5 standards, this isn't a great, this is not a good offense. So 106 overall. They really struggle with drive efficiency, being able to put the other drives that put up points, but it's the better of their metrics. I mean, they struggle with big plays, 117 in play efficiency here. I mean, they really struggle here. 101 in negative drives, too many 3 and outs, too many turnovers. Keep an eye on the tight ends in this offense. When they do throw the ball, they often find the tight ends, and they're pretty good. But they're not. I mean, this is a rush heavy attack, number 63 overall versus 118. I mean, one of the things that really, Rocky Long may have went to, come to odds with the administration with was, offensive play calling and scheme. And then, he decided to jam out and be the defensive coordinator at New Mexico, his alma mater. But they certainly haven't done much as far as updating things in his absence. This Boise defense, though, is good. Spencer Danielson's your defensive coordinator. I don't think I mentioned Kurt Maddox as your defensive coordinator for the Aztecs on the prior page. Spencer Danielson's your DC here, though, for the Broncos. 19 overall in beta rank. Pretty good at drive efficiency, not giving up big play or not giving up long drives to put up points. They're decent in explosive drives, number 33 overall. Their play efficiency is pretty good. I mean, they, outside of explosives, they don't give up a ton of yards per play. Where they really excel is forcing negative drives, number 16 overall. Lots of 3 and outs, lots of turnovers. They're definitely better against the run than they are against the pass, but they're good enough against the pass. They should be able to slow down the Aztecs. This game is going to turn a lot on field position, because the Aztecs are they're going to have decent field position to be able to put up points. They've got the terrific punter Matariza. But I don't know how much this offense is really going to be able to move the ball, and Boise State should be able to get first down. I mean, that's really key here. If Boise State can continue to move the chains, make up for, the booming punts and put up points, they'll get enough short field potentially in this game, to be able to put some points up. So we've got a Boise State with a 74% win probability on the road, 6.88 points. And that does it. That is 6. All right. We're through. After this, we'll be through the regular season and off to the conference championship games. But there's some really good ones here. I'm just going to go ahead and wrap it up. We're at 37 minutes. So thank you so much for tuning in. Stay safe out there. I'm Rob Bauer, and I'm the econometrician chicken behind Beta Rank. You can find all the stats you just saw and a lot more at sharpcollegefootball.com. You can find me at Beta Rank FB or at Sharp College Football. We have a Pac-12 podcast at 12 Pack Radio, and you can find all the back episodes of that at sharpcollegefootball.com/12 Pack Radio. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. Enjoy the games out there this week. Eat some great turkey, hang out with your family, having a great, enjoyable Thanksgiving.